What's up, everybody? This is Kyron Williams with the Los Angeles Rams running back. I'm super excited to see you at the Fantasy Sports Summit.
Hey guys, it's Tajay Spears, Tennessee Titans running back, and you listen to the Fantasy Football Counselor.
What's going on, guys? Here, back in the backyard here, hanging out. Going to give you guys a nice conversation on some players to avoid, have an open and honest discussion with you so you don't have any potential pitfalls in your drafts this year. Now, we are in full flow fantasy football season. I want to make sure everybody wins their league. This is a very, very important video because I'm going to give you guys a lot of insight. I've been preaching this in all my other videos. So if you haven't been listening and haven't been subscribed, you guys are missing out and you guys are going to fall into the traps that the mainstream consensus sheeps are laying for you, because if you draft on rankings, you will lose your leagues. I can guarantee it. I can almost guarantee you will lose your leagues if you're drafting based on consensus. So I got a list of some players here you want to avoid. We're going to have an open discussion here, hang out in the backyard, back here in the backyard, enduring the harsh elements. We got a little bit overcast, a cricket in the background, got some light winds, so we're gonna be dealing with some of these outdoor elements. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, guys, make sure you guys do smash it, tap it, slap it, giving you guys some extra content here. And note, guys, we are doing a morning show every morning at 7 a.m. and also every night 8:30 we're doing a live. So it's very important you guys turn on the bell. Guys, I know a lot of you guys are watching this or come across this video, haven't subscribed. This is the only channel telling you the truth. So it's very important you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. You don't want to miss anything, because everybody else out in the fantasy football industry is lying to you. It's all BS, cookie cutter advice. They're not out to help you. They don't care. They're just going to copy and paste last year's top finishers with no accountability, okay? And I'm ready to dive into this, and I just want to give you guys the truth, guys, the facts. That's what it's all about here. It's just making sure you guys win your leagues, okay? If you haven't gotten the 16-round draft solution, go grab it right now. In there, you're going to get all the sleepers, all the breakouts. As soon as you sign up, you're going to get an email. That email is going to give you access to my full mock draft, sleepers, breakouts, printable cheat sheet, which I update until the season starts. So grab 16 rounds. I have linked it below, and grab a ticket to the summit. We are 10 days away, guys. Kyron Williams, Trey Benson, Pat Farmers. Come hang out on a live podcast with us all on live, guys. So, guys, grab a ticket to the Fantasy Sports Summit. We're all going to be live. Get an exclusive ticket. Tickets are limited. So grab one below. 10 days to go. Fantasy Sports Summit. Grab your ticket and grab 60 rounds, okay? So let's have an open discussion here. I don't really want to make a list, but I'm going to go over some players you should be aware of and potential pitfalls, okay? Again, what's happening right now in those early rounds is crucial to you and crucially wrong. It's wrong. What they're telling you guys in those early rounds is wrong, okay? Let's talk about it. The first guy I'm talking about here is Nico Collins. Now, you've heard me talk about it in other videos, but I want you guys to start thinking. I want those neurons to start firing, and I want you guys to really understand the thought process here, okay? Listen, Nico Collins could come out and tear it up and be the number one receiver in fantasy. But when I give you guys all these red flags, I'm going to tell you guys he's not going to do that. Why? Very simple, guys. He had 109 targets last year. But guess what? There was no Diggs, and Dell was banged up, okay? He finished near the top last year, had a good season. Mind you, even 109 targets was like 25th amongst wide receivers in targets. So that's not even good, okay? That's not good. And now they're telling you to draft him, everyone. And I've seen other guys, you cannot hide the truth when it comes to your BS. I'm watching other podcasts, not often. I don't spend too much time on it. But sometimes I'll tune into a mock draft here and there, see what the other analysts are saying. Everybody seems to be an expert now. I've been doing this hardcore since 2012, started building my brand and posting every day since 2015, the first vlogger on Instagram. And it seems like everybody now is an expert at fantasy football. It's amazing. They just start up a YouTube channel, and they're an expert. So I've been seeing everybody drafting Nico Collins round 2, and nobody's giving this disclaimer. This guy had 109 targets, okay? 109, and now they've added Stephon Diggs, who's a target hog who could be the one on that team, okay? It's crazy. And I want to get this hammered home so you guys understand it. If you look at Jordan Love, right, who's coming off later than Stroud, and also his receivers are coming off later. We've already heard that Romeo Doubs could be the one. It's still going to be a bit of a mess there, diluted situation, but you're getting Romeo Doubs round 9, 10, and you're getting Nico Collins round 2. When Jordan Love outdid Stroud in touchdowns, he had 9 more touchdowns on the season. He's just throwing more. He's doing more. There's more volume. Man, I can't explain this to you. How do I explain this? You're getting ripped off with Nico Collins round 2. Straight up. Again, dilution, Diggs coming off just after, and Dell right after. And this is just one example, okay? There's other guys that are overinflated, which I'm going to get to in a second. But you got to start thinking, man, logic, common sense, basic mathematics. 109 targets, which put Nico at 25th amongst wide receivers, and now he's got Diggs and Dell healthy. I don't know how else to put it to you. Dell caught the touchdown in preseason, looked good. He looks really dynamic, explosive, by the way. Dell could be the one for all we know. If I'm going anybody, I might go tank Dell. He's the best value. I'm not spending a second or third round picks on Diggs or the other guy or Nico. Again, you guys got to start using your brain. You got to start thinking, using common sense. Now, I'm feeling a couple of raindrops here, but I'm going to continue through this. I don't know if the mic is water resistant, but I'm pretty sure my phone is. So we're just going to power through here. We're not going to be too long of a video. But Nico Collins, stay away. Other guys you want to be aware of, DJ Moore. Now, he did look like the one when you watched preseason. But again, Romo Doomsday could step up. Caleb Williams looks good. But again, you're looking at another diluted situation. I'm staying away from DJ Moore. I have zero DJ Moore stock. Zero. Not going to do it. Not going to touch it. Staying away from him, okay? So I just want you guys to heed my warning, especially in those early rounds. Be careful. Another guy looked terrible in preseason is Anthony Richardson. Now, it is preseason. I don't want to put too much weight on preseason. But the consensus that Kashyyyps have Anthony Richardson ranked 5th amongst quarterbacks. Listen, when you are drafting a quarterback, especially a guy to anchor your team, you want a guy that's safer, especially in the early rounds. You can take a bit of risks on your quarterback as a backup quarterback later. I would love Richardson in the 12th round as my backup to my QB1. Sure, I'll roll the dice on him there, but as my QB1, as QB number 5 overall in the rankings, coming off very early, up with the top tier guys, with the likes of Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes, who should bounce back, have a better year this year. Like, that is way, way, way too much, guys. Way too expensive. Not going to do it. I'm not going to invest that in, Anthony Richardson, who's only played 4 games last year, pretty much 3.5. It's just too risky. I think he's a great rushing quarterback, potentially, but they got Jonathan Taylor to do that, right? Again, he didn't look really, really exciting in preseason, so be cautious there as well, okay? Other guys you may want to consider avoiding. We talked about DJ Moore, we talked about Nico Collins, we talked about Anthony Richardson. You also want to be careful with guys like James Cook, okay? Another scenario, I keep talking about this in a lot of videos, and the rain's starting to come down a little stronger here. It's just a couple of drops. Maybe it's a cloud over me. But James Cook, be cautious there as well. He's having fumbling issues in training camp. Only had 2 rushing touchdowns last year. And they've added Ray Davis, and they've got Frank Gore Jr., who should make the team, who's going to be at the Fantasy Sports Summit as well. Guys, be cautious. See things before they happen. We know there's signs pointing that James Cook is going to get diluted in attempts. And he only had 2 rushing touchdowns last year without Ray Davis or Frank Gore Jr. on that team. Okay, Josh Allen near that goal line. Now, there is other situations where there's rushing quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, where is going to be alleviated with pressure. That's why I love Saquon. He's there to take that pressure off near that goal line, so less tush push. So there is a lot of players I do like that have rushing quarterbacks. Derrick Henry. I mean, if Gus Bus had, 13 rushing touchdowns or whatever he had, imagine what Derrick Henry could do on that offense, okay? So, again, you're looking at scenarios, looking at situations, looking at depth chart, and avoiding players like James Cook, who's showing red flags already in training camp, who didn't do that amazing last year, who's very expensive in drafts, right? There's a lot of players you're overpaying for. Guys like T. Higgins, still overpaying. Why are you drafting T. Higgins when there's a ton of other wide receiver ones, guys like Calvin Ridley, you can get later? Does that make sense to you guys, okay? This is a very important fantasy football draft tip and a lesson to you guys. You always want to aim high on the depth chart. When I'm looking at my roster, even if I'm in the 10th round, example, Romeo Doubs, I'm aiming to get the wide receiver 1. You don't want to be drafting wide receiver 2s or running back 2s early in the draft. Is this making sense to you guys? If it is, smash thumbs up, turn on that bell, and hit the thumbs up, okay? Other players you want to be cautious of, again, with quarterbacks, there's certain quarterbacks I like that I've highlighted in the 16-round draft solution that I feel warm and fuzzy with. But again, you want to be cautious of those guys. I love Jaden Daniels, but a little expensive for me. Mind you, he could absolutely tear it up, but so could Bryce Young, and Bryce Young is pretty much going undrafted. He's had a year in the league, right? They've improved his O-line. They've improved his receivers. He's gelling really well with Deontay Johnson, right? So, again, Jaden Daniels could be good, right? But, again, relatively expensive. Not as expensive as Anthony Richardson. But, again, I'm not saying don't draft Jaden Daniels. I like him. But I'm just saying, I think there's safer quarterbacks as your QB1, if that makes sense, okay? In those early rounds, you want to mitigate as much risk as possible, aiming high in the depth chart, getting the workhorses, getting the alphas on the team, and avoiding essentially the wide receiver twos on the team. You never want to be going for those wide receiver twos, okay? Never, ever, ever. Another thing that I'm seeing, I'll give you another bonus player to avoid here. Again, if you haven't gotten 16 rounds, grab it. I've linked it below. Hit the thumbs up. Very, very, very important, okay? Grab 16 rounds and grab a ticket to the summit. We got 10 days to the big event, okay? Last one is David Montgomery, okay? Now, some people are saying he's amazing value. They're going 0 RB. In other words, they're getting wide receivers early, and they're making David Montgomery their RB1. This is ludicrous, okay? He had a good year last year. Jahmyr Gibbs takes a step up. That being said, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a bit of a risk. I mean, he's very expensive round 1, but I just love the talent so much. If you are getting Jahmyr Gibbs, make sure you combo him with another running back, a Saquon Gibbs. Like, make sure you go like RB stack and make sure Gibbs is part of an RB stack if you're drafting late round 1. If you're drafting 10th, go Gibbs, but then come back and get like a Saquon, or go Saquon, come back and get Gibbs. Make sure that Gibbs is comboed with another running back 1 if you're drafting Gibbs, okay? Because again, we talked about this. I don't like David Montgomery. He's going to be coming out and just hoarding away a lot of volume. Now you're saying, well, why don't you draft David Montgomery? He's better value. He had 200 attempts last year, 13 rushing touchdowns or whatever he had. I understand that. But Gibbs is going to take a step up. It is a committee. And the problem is a lot of people are making Montgomery their RB1, which is crazy because I look at rosters all the time in groups and Facebook groups and all that. I'm seeing discussions where, oh, I went 0 RB and I drafted, Montgomery, and dude, he's not an RB1. He's just not. He's just not going to, and he gets hurt all the time. He gets hurt. You got to look at injuries as well with these guys. Like last year, everyone told you to draft Mike Williams. There's another player to avoid. I'm like, don't draft Mike Williams. Don't draft J.K. Dobbins. And they're both coming off rounds 4 and 5 respectively. Like, that is ludicrous. Why would you draft Mike Williams round 5 last year, knowing he gets hurt all the time, knowing he was a wide receiver too, by the way, right, on that team? And why would you draft J.K. Dobbins knowing he gets hurt? Like, you got to look at trends. You got to think outside the box. So Montgomery, I'm fading. And again, the fact that you're making him, or not you guys, but other people, consensus, are making him their RB1 is ludicrous. Now, this is good for you guys. Let them do that. But just be cautious, okay? I'll give you guys one more player to avoid. Again, smash it, tap it, slap it. Again, we're just hanging out, having an open discussion here. I'm not revealing all my secrets, but man, there's a lot of secrets I am revealing here. Again, if you want all the players to avoid, grab 16 rounds. I'm shamelessly plugging something I absolutely believe in. Grab it below, okay? Last one is Justin Jefferson. Now, I was all against him this season in regards to drafting him because I don't trust Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold, we were talking to Jimmy about this. Jimmy Maverick, who's on the show, co-host. He was telling me, like, yeah, Sam Darnold does better in training camp, and he does. Don't get me wrong. But you got to understand here something with Justin Jefferson is that he's going to get a lot of volume. There's zero doubt that he's going to get the volume. Addison is going to be potentially suspended. I don't know how many games he's going to miss. He's got some trouble going on. And, Hawkinson, he's out for pretty much half the season. Just from a volume perspective, he's going to be good. Like, if you just keep feeding him, he's bound to get a ton of targets and put up a lot of points. So that he's got that going for him. He had the injury last year, came back, still did well. But again, do we trust Darnold? Is he consistent? I'm fading him just for the mere fact that I am going running back early on. Just be cautious there. But again, I just think from volume he'll do well, but I'm personally fading him just from the quarterback perspective. I don't trust him at all. I don't trust the quarterback. I don't trust Donald. I don't trust the quarterback situation. It's a no for me. JJ, I don't trust him either. It's gonna be interesting. He did a lot of handoffs there in preseason. So, anyways, so another guy I'm fading is Justin Jefferson. But that being said, I do think he's going to get some volume. Okay, so hopefully this was an eye opener. I gave you a ton of players you want to avoid. I gave you guys an understanding of the landscape in the early rounds. There's a lot of dilution in these wide receivers that are being drafted. It's a question mark. You're playing wide receiver guessing games, and I don't want you guys to be caught up in that. It's going to be a disaster for you guys. Okay, so heed my warning on this, guys. Grab 16 rounds and avoid the disaster in these rankings that these mainstream sheep are putting out for you. Again, these are the same guys told you. T. Higgins round 2 last year, Dalvin Cook round 5, J.K. Dobbins round 4, Tony Pollard round 1, which was crazy. Why would you draft Tony Pollard round 1 last year? He was never a true 1, right? Austin Eckler, who was due for a decline in an entirely different situation. You got to take a look at the entire scenario, right? And I've done that all for you in the 16-round draft. So just save some time. Grab the solution, guys. You guys be very, very happy with your rosters, okay? Smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up. Grab 16 rounds, and I'll see you guys at the Fantasy Sports Summit as well. August 21st, every morning here as well, 7 a.m. and 8:30 on the lives. Guys, it's going to be a big year, guys. Full Force Fantasy Football 2024 in full session. Thanks for hanging out with me in the backyard. The rain did not actually come down. I guess it was a little bit of a cloud. Seems like it's kind of clearing up, but hopefully your mind is cleared up in those early rounds, pretty much in the entire draft, by not drafting guys that are going to potentially bust. All right? Appreciate you guys being here. Subscribe, thumbs up. We'll talk soon.